Yeah.
What are you doing?
Editing an episode.
A Baddest Records episode?
The very one.
Who's on this week?
DJ Prodigy.
Is that the guy from Arizona?
It is.
Okay, well, I need to finish my transition, so can I?
Your what?
My transition.
What is that?
You start, like I was doing a nail wound, so I started when my nails weren't done, and then I went like that, and then paused it, and then came back and my nails were done.
Oh, like before and after manicure?
Yeah, but it's with sound, like a music.
Oh, what did you pick for the music?
I did two.
Do you remember what you picked for each of them?
One was a Sabrina Carpenter song, and one was just like a edit thing.
Cool. So you're asking for screen time?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know where folks can follow the podcast?
Instagram,
Yep.
YouTube,
Yep.
Twitter.
Yeah. Do I get to see this transition when you're done?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Do it. But I think it will wind up being episode 135, Badass Records Podcast. DJ Prodigy. Thank you for being here. A busy Saturday for you.
Busy Saturday.
Had 2 gigs already. You're here for this now. You got a thing after this, and you don't even live here?
Yeah, don't even live here. Dance session afterwards. Yesterday was fun. I was out till about. I was trying to beat the rain, but it got a little crazy last night. But it's been a fun weekend so far.
When did you get in town?
When did I get in town? Everything's been blurring together.
Yeah.
I've been here for at least 2 weeks now.
2 weeks?
So.
And you're not hoteling it for 2 weeks, are you?
Oh no. My giant house out in Lee Summit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, whenever you come in, because she's on the same mind path, that I am with getting these businesses rolling and just entrepreneurship.
What's she doing?
She's a teacher.
Okay.
But
in Lee Summit, like Lee Summit Public Schools.
The high school. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. She's a high school teacher for, I believe, computer sciences or something.
Oh wow, smart people stuff.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't work that way.
Yeah, we work on it all day. But yeah, that's what she gets into. But she sees the path that I'm on with all the endeavors that I'm trying to take on. So. She supports all the way. But yep, I'm here.
You got a place to stay and wheels to get you around.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I left my car here once I moved to Arizona, because it was a old gal, but I got her fixed up since.
Okay.
Then,
so you are you born and raised here then?
I was born here. I was raised in Arizona.
Raised in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long were you here and how long have you been there?
I've been, so at the very beginning, I probably moved out of here when I was 2.
2?
Yeah. Didn't have a lot of time here. However, my whole family is in Kansas City.
Okay.
So mom's side, dad's side, a lot of them live here. Obviously, there's the scattered around the world.
Yeah.
I'm like part Dutch, so I have a whole lot of people in Holland.
Okay.
But after 2, we moved to Arizona. She wanted to do something different with her life. Got her degrees and stuff. Went to college.
Mom did. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And since then, I've been out in Arizona. But I would come back. Every other summer or so to kick it with my dad or my cousins, so on and so forth. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
So she moved to Arizona, but then moved back.
Yep.
Okay, and you stayed.
She came back, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do my thing. You know what I'm saying? It got to a point to I had hit my teenage year.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And at that critical point of moving out of the house or
Get a job,
sticking
pay
on-
rent,
right? You
yeah,
know what I mean?
or whatever the
And
thing
that's what
is.
it became. I was already on it, doing my thing. So that's
Okay.
what it became. And I came back here and been here for about 10 years. So actually living here as I guess my younger days grew up once I was 21 and stuff like that, came here, and then now it's like that I'm in Arizona, come back, go back and forth. I've got a fan base here, you know what I mean, but I've also got a fan base in Arizona.
Okay.
So kind of works.
Cool. So, when we were messaging to try to get this on the books, you said something that nobody has said before, and it was, I'll send you some bio here in a little bit. And I said, don't worry about that. Send me your list.
Yeah.
And then when I sat down to listen to your records and make notes, I immediately regretted it because there is not shit on you that I can see. DJ Prodigy Facebook page, right? And there's a website linked, right? Does that take you to? Is that active? Or?
No, I
Okay.
haven't touched my website because I do everything, myself. So if I'm updating the website or whatever, and if I just don't have, the time at the moment, I kind of put that to the side.
Sure.
But naturally, you'd be able to go to the website. I'd have all my music and pictures, events, all that good stuff. But yeah.
So is Facebook when the website's alive and well, that and Facebook are the only places?
Oh no.
No, where else are you?
So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, obviously, YouTube.
Okay, and do you post to all those regularly?
Yep.
Now, are you? I don't know the terminology because I'm not smart in that lane. But when you post, does the same stuff go to all of the platforms, or do you try to
No,
keep it?
I treat them different because each of my platforms, tend to certain people. Like TikTok has its own lane.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Spitfire, kind of situation going on there. Facebook is more of my close circle and a little bit beyond that, and people that I can kind of get my hands on. And then Instagram are like folks who are really interested in the art of it in a sense and are kind of tied in on that end, but might not be in my vicinity.
Okay.
Like, all around.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of treat them all
Good.
different, but they serve their purpose.
I think that's important, but I also, on a personal level, if I'm following my buddy over here on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, I don't want to see your same post in
Every
three
time?
different platforms. Like, what?
Yeah.
So here's the other thing that sort of got in my way was that there's at least one other DJ Prodigy in Southern California, I think. Right?
Is there? Shoot, I ain't seen them.
Yeah, really?
No.
Okay, you never Googled yourself?
No, I do. Every once in a while.
Okay.
Every blue
Okay.
moon, I try to see who. Some people have hit me up because I've had this name, solid for a long time, and I've had some people hit me up asking if they could buy the name from me or
really?
buy my website because they wanted to do that. But I'm like,
Okay.
nope.
Okay.
You gotta battle me for it.
Nice. Well, I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. I should be able to remember when Cheeto Flow was here.
He came through and did.
He did one. It's been
Nice.
a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that one of your records was on his list. And I remember, and it was, when we get to that part, I just roll through them in release order, like oldest to most current. And yours was the most current, I believe. So I think we did 4 and then got to that one and I had the wrong record. And I remember something along the lines of Prodigy Productions. Is that your
Yeah.
umbrella, right?
Yep.
For whatever things you have going, and is there an online presence for that too?
Yeah, so the Prodigy Productions, that is the website is what that's supposed to be. So when you go to that, that'll have everything. But once I get that back up, that'll be nice and flowy. It'll simply prodigy.productions.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
And does it have social media
yeah.
accounts too? So you toggle between your own stuff and Prodigy Production stuff, or no?
Yeah, the Facebook page, my DJ Prodigy one, that'll be the Prodigy Productions stuff. For the Instagram, the real DJ Prodigy, that's it on that one. TikTok, I've got 2 different ones, and then Snapchat.
The real DJ Prodigy is your Instagram.
Yep, that has a lot of good stuff on it.
Okay. Any underscores or
Nope,
is all
straight
just
up.
All right.
Try to keep it as simple as I can, you know.
Well, cool. So the real DJ Prodigy on Instagram.
And then Prodigy Productions on everything else.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And are you uploading, like, if you do you post videos to TikTok?
Yeah.
And are you
pretty frequent
producing those and publishing them yourself?
Yep. One of my bigger posts is like at 500,000 something. But yeah, I've got some good growing posts on TikTok. That's been giving me the most push. SoundCloud, I have kind of my own lane, and they love my stuff on there. I'll have like 15,000 views on, you know, a song here and there.
Nice. Now, when I got this off the ground, it's like, okay, book the interview, record the interview, edit the interview, get it up, and then once it's up, then I'll make TikToks.
Yep.
And it was just killing me time-wise.
Yeah.
Because it's not, if I want to post a 30-second clip of us talking about whatever, I got to find it from the thing. I got to take it out of the hole and then send it to myself and then upload it, because I'm not like recording TikToks.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it just I ran out of steam with it, and I could see that it was building faster than my Instagram, my Twitter, whatever. Yeah. But I was just like, it's just me. So I mean, if you're able to keep all of those things alive and different and fresh, kudos to you, man.
Man, it is a job, and I've been pushing more hard. I give myself time frames. I'm like, okay, at this point in the year or something, it's time to go hard, post, be on top of it, just mental notes, understanding that I'm getting ready to work, because that's really what these posts end up being, is work. I mean, it's social media, it's marketing. These are things people actually take classes for. So when it comes to TikToks, I like to record something like straight for a long time and do it on the phone. So that way I can get right into the edit and make easy chops. All I need is 15 seconds of this, but I've got a 3-hour long recording.
On your phone?
Oh yeah, that's why I got this bad
How
boy.
do you, what is that?
The iPhone 15.
But so I would immediately, I upload new episodes out, and I'm uploading a couple or 3 TikToks, and then immediately I'm out of memory. And I got to clear the cache, and I got to go delete shit, and I got to turn the phone off and turn it back on. It's just like,
Exactly, and that's where, because I've got two phones. I purposefully got this iPhone for the camera and the space.
Oh.
The camera is immediately clean, fresh, nice. And it's got 528 gigs of space on the phone. I'm like, that's excellent.
Did you ask for? Does it come with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes with that. There's a the version under it that's like 128 gigs or something like that, and that's just not enough no more.
No,
But
I think I'm 50, 52, 50, somewhere in there.
yeah, oh yeah.
So just
That's a couple of apps. That's Facebook alone.
I know. So it's like
Yeah.
constantly doing this. All right, I haven't been on this one in 2 weeks. Goodbye. I haven't did it. Goodbye.
Exactly.
And then I'm going through pictures. And
But that's what I love about this. Like I do not like Apple phones for squat. So for me to have this, I'm always like, man, I can't stand this about this phone. But when it comes to like recording, oh my goodness, it's the bomb. Last night, my show was like 4 hours.
where was it?
Street Styles Academy. It's in West Bottoms.
Okay.
I set up my tripod and my gimbal. Stood it up on there.
Sorry, what
recorded
was
the
that?
whole time.
What was that second thing?
Gimbal. Oh yeah.
What's that?
Stabilizer,
Okay.
basically for your phone.
So if something's making the tripod shake, it's not going to shake.
No. Imagine like this is like a stick, and then it's got a thing on it, and it basically makes the motion smooth.
I see.
But it still acts as a phone holder in a sense.
Sure.
So I could screw that onto a tripod and have it sit wherever I need to, or move it to however I need. But the fact that it stood there and recorded for 3 hours straight, like all the way through, excellent.
Okay.
So now all I got to do is, I'll rewatch it in a day. I'll be like, ooh, that's a good clip.
That was my next question. You don't necessarily automatically know where all the nuggets are in 3 hour.
Yeah, you
gotta go back, right?
Got to.
And be like, oh, shit, that was.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Stuff, yeah, exactly. There's stuff that I didn't even notice because I'm DJing or I'm doing whatever.
Yeah.
So go into that, and from that point, screen record the moments that you want. Scrub, screen record, and now you have the exact clips that you want to mess with.
Okay.
And now you can push them out, however.
Yeah. Cool. So born here, raised in Arizona. You're back and forth. You have a younger sister and a brother, but you're the firstborn.
Yeah.
Shouts out to firstborns.
Straight up.
So any idea how mom and dad met? How they crossed paths with one another?
My father's a producer. My mom used to be a rapper.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How long ago did she hang him up?
Oh man, I think as soon as she had me, once she realized, ladies think different. So as soon as she had me, she was like, "Oh no, I got to get my life right. Like, I don't know what I'm about to do, but I got to get it right, and I don't want to, bring my kid up into me not being ready." So I give her kudos to that. But father's a producer, doing that to this day. He's cold. That's the man that I've been chasing in a sense because he's ridiculous. He lives out in California right now.
Your dad does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but some of dad's family is also still here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Most of the family from both sides still here. But yeah, my dad, as far as like the production and being a rapper and a musician, he's got that. My mom, she's got so much talent and creativity, but she's so good on the logistics side.
Oh, smart. Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of like best of both worlds.
Cool. Cool. How long were you all under the same roof? Was it short-lived? Was it a long time?
Oh no, that never happened.
Oh, never happened. Never. Okay. So
Yeah, that never happened. I think my dad wanted it to be that situation. He wanted it to like, let's get married. I feel like my mom was such in the headspace of like, I kind of see past that young stuff, like the bull or whatever. Like, I know you mean good, but we ain't ready. You know what I mean? So she did what she thought was right for the moment and went with that.
Okay. Now they are. She's a rapper. He's a producer. So they're in the business together, and their paths cross. Did their paths cross initially on a professional level, or was it just that he saw her or she saw him, and
I think it was just an event.
Okay.
That, cross paths, and just had a good time. My dad's a good time. My mom, the way she is, she's funny. You know what I
Nice.
mean? So I'm sure it was just a dope time, and especially around that time because they're young parents in a sense. So they're dancing, kicking it, house parties. I mean,
Yeah.
that lifestyle was perfect for that day and age, and I'm sure you already know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So did you wind up splitting time? Did you stay with dad some, stay with mom some, or are you with mom the whole way? Or?
well, my dad was the reason I would come back to Kansas City.
Okay.
So I'll come back, we'd visit, hang, and at that point, I get to hang out with my other cousins that I'm not getting to know, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Hitting those family barbecues that I might not get in certain areas.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
So if with them both in the business, I gotta imagine that they both put on music to listen to at home when you're a little person.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of stuff were they into?
Well, I think my mom is the first person who got me into electronic music.
Really?
Yeah. To like house,
Like,
Daft Punk, and
oh
like,
yeah.
she's the first person who put me on to that type of stuff. And I think that might have spiraled me getting into the production of music. Like, ooh, what? There's more. But initially, on my father's side, we got Einstein, Tech Nine, and we listening to stuff that kind of makes you headbang and obviously we've got our roots of funk and soul and stuff like that being played around the house, gospel and whatnot. But things that kind of stuck out to me, yeah, that Midwest just Tech Nine type stuff, and then electronic music. Like,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah, definitely an interesting tie between the two.
Now, not necessarily referring to your list, but this idea of when we are little people and mom's into music, dad's into music, and you hear it when you're under their roof, and it's just kind of, I always say it's kind of like the furniture. Like
Yeah.
it's this is part of my life, it's part of my fabric, and then at some point you kind of step just a little bit outside that lane and start to forge your own tastes.
Yep.
So I'm curious if there's a record that, or an album that you first fell in love with or borrowed or bought with your own money that wasn't something of theirs and wasn't something that was on the list that you gave me.
Interesting. I would probably have to say something that I went into my own lane with, at least, because I my first purchases as far as like albums or CDs would go, that was like Omarion and some R&B stuff, but that was nothing out of the ordinary. So my I think my first breakaway into finding new music was like when dubstep came around, because I'm a dancer. So
You are?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm a professional dancer. I taught like different high schools and stuff like that for a few years. But dubstep, when that came around, man, because that I got the beginning of that, and that was a wild time, and using that and implementing that with already the bases that I had in music, like, was really interesting. So
Cool.
yeah.
What about did mom or dad take you to live music performances, or did you
Oh,
go
yeah.
anything early, whether with them or with buddies or whatever, something that's a first or stands out from youth?
Yeah. My first few concerts, I think my first concert was Kanye West.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Flashing Lights tour, the Flashing Lights. Yeah, that was
Whoa.
nutty. That was nuts.
Way to set the bar high for
I know, right? Right after that was Chris Brown in his prime, and I got to see, like, these are the first three that stood out as a youngin'. Average White Man.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So I got to see those different aspects of music at that time, and that just really, set it off. Especially being, just hyping, and I'm dancing and everything. All these people looking around like, who's this little kid just kicking it? But yeah. Kanye West, that was the first one. That was nuts. The whole setup, the lights, the orchestra, the way he pulled the silhouettes, and
Where was the venue for that show?
Where was this at? I want to say it was either Indianapolis or something around there.
Okay.
Yeah, we were traveling and caught his shows like for my birthday or something
Nice.
like that. So
Nice. Now, if a stranger who's never met you before, has no idea what you do, asks you, what do you do for a living? What is it's just small talk, like you're at a whatever. What's your answer for that?
I'm a music producer.
Music producer. Now, does that mean, to me, there's two sort of lanes you can go with that. One is you are involved in the recording and production of studio albums for artists, and the other is making beats and things of that nature. Are you one? Are you both? Is there other stuff that I'm not even thinking about?
Yeah, I would say that I'm both of those. I make your sound what it's supposed to be.
Okay. So that, to me, that's more of that first,
Yeah,
right? Because the episode that dropped, what's today's that? This week, was a guy named FK Menace.
Oh yeah, FK.
Yeah. His
we
episode
DJ'd today. Yep.
You what?
I said we DJ'd together today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. So like, that's if he's got 4 hats that he wears, I think the producer hat is the one that he will verbalize first and most often. But in my conversation with him, it seemed like he was more of that. I'm making beats. I'm creating stuff. He's not really,
for sure. No, yeah, I think that's exactly. And I'm not sure 100%, but as far as what he puts out, he's a beat maker. Like he makes beats. He does his DJ thing, and he's dope. But as far as like recording somebody's album and making a body of work, I don't think I've seen that.
No. I asked him. He said, "No, I don't." It would have to be like a really perfect scenario for me to do that. And I was like, "Okay, cool." But you do both.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And do you, when you do stuff for other folks, you're credited, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's a physical copy of the end product, you're in the liner notes. If it's just digital, you're on the streaming platform, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
And both generate income for you.
All
right?
of it. Yeah, I had a studio here some years back before I moved back to Arizona. So I had a studio off of, I want to say 9th and Tracy.
Okay.
And there I was doing people's recordings, whether it was voiceovers, podcasts, your recording for your record, whatever it is, we're doing that. If you need music made, whether it's for your commercial, movie, I do scores, so on and so forth, we get that done. Performances, we get that done. You know what I mean? It was all around workshop. But that building burnt down
For real?
to the ground. Like,
What happened?
I feel like we got some kind of like bull excuse, like they really couldn't figure out what it was.
From the fire department?
Yeah, because
arson
it took so long for us to get a result, and then the results that we got back, it was so unsatisfying. Like,
Nobody was hurt, though.
nobody was hurt. We were all, everybody was good. But it was an old building. It was like a historic building. And we had just got it open.
Are you serious?
Yeah, just got it open. It had like a kind of an auditorium, stage, in there. We would set up skate events. You could do all kinds of stuff in this building. It was perfect. And just one day out the blue, came back from getting a drink with a couple of my buddies, and it was dead nighttime. It was maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm gonna open this real quick. Keep going.
But we come back, right, and I don't know what it was. The lights weren't kind of on, and we weren't necessarily paying attention to like the building itself. Buddy's telling a story, we're laughing, kicking, driving up the street, park, and I'm looking at the ground, and I'm like seeing like shrapnel like of stuff, and I see the on the top of a building, the little vents that spin around.
Yeah.
I see that on the ground, and I'm like, that's supposed to be on the roof. And immediately I'm just like, go up like this, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is done.
How long had it been open?
We had probably been open for maybe like 3 months.
Okay.
Because it opened in November at the time, and then I want to say, like January, February is when it went down, and it was just so odd, you know what I mean? Out of the blue.
So did insurance make it right on some level, and then you guys just walk away, or?
Yep, that's kind of what it was. It was like nobody had any real answers. Kind of had to take that one to the chest.
Yeah.
And
I hear you say that you had this studio, and I immediately I get a couple little anxiety panic wiggles. One being how stiff was competition, meaning other studio people like shopping for studios, and the other being like the overhead of having a space means you got to book X number of hours per month in order to pay your bills and then hopefully pay yourself, right?
Yeah.
Those two pieces had to be a reality, were they not?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But this is something that we were already doing beforehand. So we have the clientele to produce what we need to. It was fine. I was able to quit my job and do this full time. And it was fun. But that all came to a screeching halt, and at that moment, it was almost like, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep going? Because that was everything I had. That was, tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff just gone in a split second. Like how? All the music you've created, because you would have backups of hard drives, but those were there. Who would have known? Like, it's just the farthest from thing that I would be thinking would happen at that moment. So,
wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, it was a lesson learned. But I'm like, now we back harder than ever, and creating a whole new foundation, new atmosphere, and
cool. So you're a producer.
Yeah.
You swim in both sides of that stream, but you're also a DJ. Where does this trajectory of DJing, producing, being in the music business? I know both mom and dad were in the business, but for you, where does that start? Where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. Was there a moment? Was there an inspirational experience?
Being a producer, I've always wanted to create. So I think that's the end goal. I just want to be the producer. I just want to create the thing that gives you your mood, puts you in the place that you want to be, just period. But as far as transferring to the DJ side, I had to think, like, how do I, in a time that marketing isn't what it is today, that we can't just do these things, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, how am I going to get my music out to the people? DJ. At the time I was teaching dance and producing music, but nobody really knew I was producing music. Everybody knew me as a dancer. And I'm like, that's not, what I do. Like, yes, I dance, I kick it because that's just what I have this in attendance at all time. Like, I can always, dance or whatever, but I can't show you what I've really been working on. So from that point, it's like, how do I get my sound in the ears of the people that need it? And DJing was the answer.
Okay.
And at the studio that I was working at, the owner, he was on a call with a good friend of his or whatever, and he throws events, like big events at the time. And he reached over, he was like, "Hey, yo, Prodigy, like, do you know how to DJ?" I know how to DJ, but I don't have any, I don't have any of the equipment. I'm just like, yeah, I know how to DJ. And he's like, a buddy of mine, got a show, 600 Friday night. It's 4 days away. Can you do it? Yes. Like immediately. Yes, I'll do it. Didn't have no DJ equipment that night. Went and bought some cheap turntables, got a computer, got my stuff together, and like made it happen for that Friday night. And from that point on, people have just been like on top of, the style of my DJing and whatnot, and it just flew from there.
So you went and bought turntables.
Yeah.
Did you already have records?
No. I had to go on the search for all that. It was crunch
That's insane.
time. It was crunch. But I was open to grabbing any opportunity.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have done it, I mean,
So if I wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't be doing any of this. That put me on to Dance Festopia. I was able to DJ there and do some shows there, but when it had just started. So the second year of Dance Festopia, I was there. And now it's, doing its thing.
is it always in the same spot?
For the most part, I think they're moving it around though, trying to get it all over. But
Okay.
because last year I think it was in a different spot than what I remember.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Dance Festopia, man, that was dope to be at.
So gig 1, your turntables and vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
What's your setup today?
Setup today, straight controller, tractor.
What is that? What's a track? What does that mean?
Tractor is Native Instruments.
Okay.
So Native
Okay.
Instruments with the machine and complete control, all the MIDI controllers. Tractor is their DJ controller. When they came out with that, I was like, oh yeah, I need that. It's got some nice little effects to it, and the way the program runs is just phenomenal to me.
So you're not lugging turntables and
No.
vinyl around
No,
anymore?
no.
Not for a while.
Yeah, not for a while, and I love it. As far as the craft of it, but getting your music to the people, like they just want to groove.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that transition like? Was it, were you worried? Was it cumbersome? Was it seamless?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I was already into the controller, not necessarily into the controller game, but I would always be reading up on it and looking at catalogs, and like, oh, I want to play around with that. So it was more of a gaming advantage to me, being able to press all these fancy, buttons and whatnot.
Sure. So right now, first of all, anybody ever, when you're at a gig, does anybody ever flip you shit for not having vinyl turntables? No.
Nah.
Nobody.
Nah, I think it's because like they see what I can do.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't.
So you gig in Arizona and you gig here.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have to lug all your stuff back and forth, or do you have setups in both spots?
At first it did. Now I have stuff in both
Okay.
spots because
And-
as soon as I got to Arizona, I wasn't able to bring everything. So when I got to Arizona, I immediately bought a second hand running of what I have here.
Okay. Have you ever been in a spot where you're getting on a plane and you're concerned about stuff that you're lugging, or
Absolutely. All the time. If I could, I would just hold it the whole time. But
just
yeah, like I don't touch it. But sometimes you gotta leave that one up to God, man. Just get
It's
my stuff back
nuts.
to me.
I told this story a few times on here, but I had a couple venues locally. I want to do an episode, but can you come to me? Oh, shit. Oh, I guess so. broke all this stuff down. Went to St. Joe for one and out to Shawnee for the other. And I was like, let me see if I can like meet some random person who knows where in the country and fly to them and set up and interview and break down and fly home.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to Long Island in New York and interviewing this dude at his tattoo parlor. And it was a very, very long day. I flew out at like 7, and I had I didn't bring any. I didn't think of this until I was already I brought no clothes, just what I was wearing, because my suitcase and my backpack were full, bulging with all of this stuff.
And there's weight limits out here.
Well,
too.
but the thing was, it's like, and it when we landed in New York, it rained the whole time I was there, and it's like, if I step in a puddle, I might have had an extra pair of socks. But it's like if a car would have run through a puddle, and I would have just been wet for the whole day. Anyway, so I get through, do the thing, coming back through TSA. They're like, this dude was like, "Who's this?" Holds up my. I was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, recording a podcast." He's like, "What?" And I was like, he's like, "You got cameras and mics and I'm like,
yeah, man.
No, I know. I packed the bag. I know what's in there." And
he
was just like, he asked me so many questions that I was like, are you still like on the clock being a T? Right. Is this part of the job description to ask me all these? None of this is like even in the neighborhood of dangerous. Anyway,
can I be on my way?
Yeah, exactly. So remind me one more time, the real DJ Prodigy on Instagram.
Yep.
You got to do something?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then Prodigy Productions is the Facebook page, or Prodigy Productions is
DJ Prodigy on Facebook.
DJ Prodigy on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then,
but to look up any of my work, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, all that, Prodigy Productions.
Prodigy Productions.
Yep.
And is all of your stuff in all those spots?
Yeah.
And do you use like an RSS or something that shoots it to all the spots, or do you have
I've
to...
got a distributor.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yep.
Right on. Well, I really appreciate you being here. And I really appreciate you sharing your list with me. Like I mentioned, I'll just kind of roll through them in order of release, which puts us all the way back in 1975. Parliament's Mothership Connection.
Yes, sir.
4th of 10 for them. 7 tracks, 38 minutes. Put a glide in your stride and a dip in your hip. I mean, Bootsy, George Clinton, Fred Wesley, Maceo Parker, Michael Brecker, who I just recently learned of because he had a record on somebody's list, Bernie Worrell, and a bunch more. What is your introduction story to this album, and do you know the rest of their studio stuff as well? Or
I've got a few more of their of other records, but this one right here, it just is a staple for so much of the music that is today in the hip hop realm, at least. And then, like I was saying earlier, I'm big on funk. I come from a G-funk era of popping and getting down in a certain way. So when it comes to the foundations of this stuff, I mean, you just listed off so many heavy hitters in this band. Is ridiculous. But Parliament is crazy. But my grandparents, you already know that my grandparents got me up on that and pushed me in the right area. As soon as I heard this album, I was immediately like, okay, this is where we at. This is what touches my soul, at least. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, 7 tracks. It's something of a ballsy move in the era of albums.
Yep. Most
people are 10, 11, 12, and it's an hour long or whatever. But right out of the gate, this is so good, it's got to be the best song on the record. And then track 2, you're like, well,
wait a minute.
And then it never stops, because each track is just amazing. And for me, I didn't come across Parliament until into high school, early in college. And it's
Really?
like, I have never, I mean, I knew, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. I knew some stuff, but there's some sounds happening in some of those less familiar tracks
Right.
where I was like, I don't even know how you would make these this music.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
just mind blowing.
And that's something that I do love about albums today is that it's the ones that aren't pressed out into the masses, that aren't the mainstream, because these B-sides and stuff like that, they just have things on it that are like, what the heck were you guys doing? Like yeah, man.
Well, I've told this story on here before a number of times too. 6th, 7th, 8th grade is when I'm as soon as I've got any amount of money, I'm going and I'm on
right.
cassettes.
Yeah.
I'm buying cassettes.
Oh, okay, yep.
But I'm Walkman, headphones on in my room with the liner notes, and sometimes you would have just nothing. You just have the cover art and then the listing of the songs on the back, and it's just blank. And sometimes you would get like fold out with lyrics and artwork,
Right.
and here's the producer and all this stuff. And I'll never forget buying 1989 Digital Underground's Sex Packets.
Uh-oh.
And there's a lot of Clinton and Collins being credited, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, I know the dude's names in Digital Underground. Like, what? These guys are from Parliament. Like, what? And it's like,
Exactly.
oh shit, they're taking snippets of songs and building their own song around it.
Sample.
Yeah.
Sample game.
So, okay, so I learned that, and then I get a copy of this record, and I get like Chocolate City and a couple other Parliament, and then
Chocolate City, yeah.
then I start getting into Funkadelic. Did you ever go down like Maggot Brain?
Yeah, absolutely.
That shit got weird.
It definitely
It
gets
wasn't
wonky.
that.
It definitely gets wonky.
Yeah.
But that's the funk.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
my grandpa, he's my whole family's musically, inclined in some form or fashion. But my grandfather on my mother's side, he's always like shooting me something. Like if I were to go visit him, he'll send me back with a record. Like, here, take this, go listen to it or whatever.
A piece of vinyl.
Yeah.
And he'll send you home with it.
Yeah, he'll send me home.
So you do have some for your own listen.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like when I was little.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
As because I'm so fascinated by all this wall that you have, records. Like,
This is your grandpa?
Yeah, just straight up records. So I'm just like fascinated by what's going on here.
Is his collection still around?
Yeah, he still got all
cool.
of it, and he would always just send me back with something. So I'd have a little bit to do some homework.
Yeah. Now, was he always expecting them back?
No, I think for the sake of like principle, if I were to bring it back in great shape or something like that, then that says something to him. But he was giving these to me like,
Cool.
Do that.
Cool.
Listen to that.
Nice. Well, so from 75 to 78, Royce 3 strikes again. Royce, third of 12, 9 tracks, 39 minutes. We go from Plainfield, New Jersey with Parliament out to L.A. This is a soul, R&B, disco, funk outfit that Norman Whitfield is the producer of. And it seems like he had his hand in a lot of stuff, kind of like a Quincy Jones in some sense. Yeah. Who is Royce for DJ Prodigy, and how'd they wind up in your lap?
Royce, I came into them a little bit later on, but it was so groovy. Something that you were saying that stuck out to me, like a lot of these producers and writers are in the same in the same rooms, especially at that time, like Warner Brothers and like all of these people are in the same area. So a lot of that work does, transcend past their own albums. But Rolls Royce so special, and especially like as the singer aspect in their own lane. It was so interesting to listen to after hearing, Zapp and Roger, Funkadelic and Parliament and stuff like that. Rolls Royce just had something different, and she would always. I think what caught me is she does this little thing. It's like a whistle tone or something when she sings, and almost like a glissando in symphonic terms, like a.
Okay.
But she does it in such a frequency that it's like, what was that? You know what I mean? You thinking it's an instrument or something's like somebody's hitting something. But I mean, they're so smooth and funky with the way they would, go about their music. Just fell in love with it. It was dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah, it was good stuff. You mentioned Zapp and Roger. I have seen this name. I've never heard of Rolls Royce, so that was a first listen for me. I liked it. Zapp and Roger, I know the name, but I've never and it was not at all what I expected. So this is 1980, first of 7, 6 tracks, 40 minutes, funk band out of Dayton, Ohio. And I'm reading, right, worked closely with George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, early on, and are partially credited with influencing the G-Funk sound that you mentioned, and West Coast hip-hop to a degree, and I'm like, what?
Absolutely.
And then I start listening, and I was like, holy shit.
Makes sense.
Talk about samples.
Yeah, makes all the way sense. Exactly.
There's so much that's been taken just from this. I haven't listened to their other records.
Yeah, just from this one.
Yo. So, how did this one land in your lap?
So my father does talkbox. So the sounds that you hear with Zapp and Roger, basically Roger,
Which is the more bounce
yep,
to the right?
exactly. That more bounce to the ounce. That's talkbox, computer love.
It's a hose, right? Mm-hmm. And you're blowing and speaking into it at the same time.
So you're actually think about this. This is the best way I could explain it. Think about when you, I don't know if you've ever done it, but some of the younger crowd may have. Your phone's playing music, and then you might like take your mouth to the phone and like make noise. Or if you have ever put your like face to a fan and it make that sound, think of that same effect with a speaker. That speaker is making, you're pressing, a key in the key C, and it's just going through that speaker, and that tube makes it travel to your mouth. So when that sound bounces back off of your throat or whatever, and you mouth the words, you literally have to learn how to speak without speaking, because you're doing the talking with the keyboard. So whatever I put through the speaker, it's going through the tube, and I project it out of my mouth, and it's an interesting concept, but that's how it works. And I'm like, I've got a custom talk box in the car right now.
It's custom?
Yeah.
What? So you went to somebody and said, I need this to be a certain way?
Yeah, people talk box is kind of a niche thing, like DJing vinyl records. People still do it and hone in on it, but it's not as popular. But I've got a guy out in Spain, and he makes custom talk boxes for a lot of the big talk box artists right now. But it's important to have the right kind of talk box because of the power of all the frequencies that you can touch. So your low ends, you want to make sure that you can hit it just right without blowing the amp that you're working in.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of electronics to it, whatever, but it's relatively simple though. You know what I mean?
So this one that you have, this custom one that you have in the car, I couldn't go to a talk box shop online or in person and buy that exact one because
No.
it's custom made for you. What did you say?
No, well, he had came to me because I was using a generic talk box at the time. There's good enough talk box that you can go buy whatever, maybe $100, something like that. But having something special, especially like being known for something like that, I was like, I need that. Let me get a custom talk box. That'll be dope. And I ain't never seen it before. You know what I mean? So it looks good when you place that bad boy on your table
Hell
because
yeah.
it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb anyways.
Really?
But yeah, talk
So
boxes are
what-
solid big pieces.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So what kind of stuff is part of your set? What's visible to a patron that comes to your show, or to you for that matter? What are the primary pieces that are
So
making the thing do?
yeah, for sure we're gonna have the talk box up there. I'm gonna have a keytar on my strap as well. My DJ turntables and a beat machine.
Okay.
If applicable.
Right.
But,
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with turntables and vinyl, I pictured this standard setup of two and a coffin and a mixer in the middle.
Yeah.
Moving records back and forth and sliding the mixer are what give you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, your two sort of primary sounds in the scratch world, right?
Yeah.
You get this one from moving the record and this one from toggling the mixer.
Exactly.
Does your setup have things that make those sounds as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So really, all you would do, because you could do this anywhere. The scratch is basically the beginning of a harsh sound in a sense. So usually people will find the beginning of a bass or a snare. Cause as soon as the song's playing, it'll be like doom 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 doom.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Man,
now
you're good at that.
now you
It's
have
almost like you've done this before.
right now you have that sound that you can go into, and without the mixer or with the fader. I
Fader,
suppose.
my bad.
Yeah. Without the fader aspect, you're getting that swoosh sound. So that's going to create that. But with the fader is where you can create that cut, where
Yes.
you're stop, that little pause right in between and make it real clean. But, there's so many different ways to cut a record.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
I think I cut you off though in telling me what you're going to have. So you got your talk box.
Yeah.
What else you got out there?
talk box, beat machine,
Beat machine,
keytar,
guitar.
and the controller. Those are the main.
Okay.
And obviously, good old microphone, just
Yeah.
in case I feel like rapping or singing.
Do both of those happen?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Like every show, every set?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just about.
Now, how much is the talkbox stuff part of what you're doing? Is it every 6 songs? Is it a little bit in every song?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll space the talk box out because it's very particular on what it's good for. So like once I start, like if I'm DJing and I've got hip hop and I don't know, electronic going, I might not use the talk box at all. But once we get to our R&B, I might use the talk box with maybe some background vocals. So giving the song what it could have in a sense, and then people start seeing it like, ooh, like wait a minute, that's him up there. And then
Cool.
From there, I might go to actual funk, and then that's when I'm able to let the beat ride and me play on my talk box and give you,
Okay.
a whole different feel.
Now, do you? I don't imagine that your set list, if you will, is identical from show to show and venue to venue, or is it?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, so now, are you coming up with stuff on the fly often in a set? Or,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, and I think that's kind of what makes it special.
yeah,
But I stopped making set lists for a long time, so I kind of understood what it is when you come to a crowd. It's not the same. Like even if the venue or the event is whatever based, all right, you're coming to play uh, strictly dubstep or something like that. The crowd might actually, depending on how you go about certain things, they tell you what they want. So, we might dive into something. You have to be comfortable with that. So I just make sure I have all facets of songs that I would, really be
sure,
looking to go for. So
sure.
I can dive back and forth. I can intertwine those worlds together. People who have never heard, you know, a certain hip hop song or vice versa, or whatever. I can intertwine those worlds, and you get, best of both worlds.
Yeah,
So
nice. Um, I was at a stand-up comedy show last night.
yeah, nice.
And I love the world of stand-up. I love learning about because not it would appear that no two comics write the
Yeah,
same. And I don't know if you know a cat from around here named Mab KC. He's got
sounds familiar.
he just put out a new record called 90s Baby. Actually, he's got some stuff beyond that out there, but he has a studio in Blue Springs called Industry Sounds. And he's come on a couple times, and we've talked about rapping and writing. And I've asked him, are you ever a pencil and paper kind of guy? And he says, no, I just punch in. So he's in the booth or whatever and hits record, and that's when he's writing,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So stand up guys and gals, a lot of them kind of aim for an hour special.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you put it out yourself on YouTube. Maybe Netflix puts it out. Maybe it's on Amazon. But these are large rooms, right?
Yeah.
Like lots of, like the show last night was at Starlight. It's a large room. But by the time they're playing those rooms,
Mm-hmm.
like they know the skin and bones of their hour's worth of material, their set,
Yeah.
right? But as they're building that hour, they'll do smaller spots around the country, smaller rooms around the country, and sprinkle in a mix of already fleshed out bits that work
Mm-hmm.
with tiny little kernels that they've never tried before. It's only an idea that they thought of on the plane or in the bathroom
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
having a drink or whatever. So they try it out, and then it's like, okay, this worked, but this didn't work. And then the next time they make a tweak, and then they get it to where it's good, and then it's like, oh, you know what? This would really work well if I did it 30 minutes earlier in
Yeah.
Anyway, where I'm going with this, are you ever in the middle of doing what you're doing and you just try something you've never tried at all before, or are you always trying stuff that you've got a little bit of familiarity with, if that makes sense?
I think that I'm more so the person who likes to explore outside of that comfortable zone. So I've got, my set of what I'm ready for, but I love to get to a place and like do something on the fly. And it happen every time that it happens, it's always the best outcome.
Seriously?
I've gotten so many connections with artists that we would have never talked otherwise. Doing a show, I remember doing a show opening up for Wiz Khalifa, or not necessarily opening up. I was DJing the whole thing, and one of the artists that was playing, and I had his music or whatever. Never met the guy, anything like that. Playing his music, and I think he had given me a track that wasn't the right track or something like that. for whatever reason, it just wasn't the right something. So he was looking at me like, almost in a sense of like, what's going on, or fix it or something like that.
Like I'm almost feeling insulted.
Yeah,
that you're
like
not doing what I thought you would do with
exactly. Like I didn't give you the right stuff. Like you should have it already. But immediately off of the last song with the beat machine, you wouldn't even have known it from the crowd, but I'm creating a beat as the song falls out. So now he's got background music. I play the next song, and he's like, he looks at me like, that's not the right song. So instead of what I did, instead of cutting the song off, I took out the vocals and looked at him. I was like, freestyle. And then I gave him his beat. And as soon as I started hitting the beat machine, and when I make a beat, it's usually, it catches on. It feels good. So he immediately was like, oh yeah, I can dig this, and went from there and was able to finish out his time just right. Everybody else was kicking it, and it was a blast. And
you were telling him to freestyle?
yeah,
And
I was
did he?
like, did it? Yeah, exactly.
He just came up with some shit off the top of his
I think it was because I was so confident in it, and he
forced
heard
him to be confident.
Yeah, he heard the beat that I was coming up with on the spot. I'm looking at him dead in his eyes. I was like, do it. Like, I don't know you, you don't know me, but this is what we do. We are creatives. You know what I mean?
Professionals.
Yeah, like, let's go.
So
Let's
with
go.
that, like that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
If somebody gives me something and I'm performing and they do this,
And the thing is that, like, whatever you were thinking at that point, you didn't give me. So we need to improvise. And I mean, this is just how it's got to happen sometimes. There's been a time where the electricity cut out. Well, not electricity, but what would I say? One of the fuses had blown
Oh,
on,
yeah,
just
yeah.
on a certain side, the electrical wall, or whatever. But it blew because we didn't know that plugging the fog machine up would cut everything once we press it. So I'm DJing a whole show, a whole set, and we get this machine going, and it cuts out the sound. Like dead middle of everybody, hey, hey, hey. Immediately cuts everything off. Lights, everything, go. The mic's still on though. So from there, I go straight to beatboxing.
you can
And
beatbox too.
yeah, oh yeah. So I go straight to beatboxing, and as I'm doing it, I'm like trying to grab one of my homies that can rap, so he could come on and freestyle while I'm trying to figure out how to get this shit back on, how to get it back going. And we just keep the vibes going, keep the party going. And I think it's important for, like, as the artist, to bring people into that world of being free.
Sure.
That's what this music is. It
Yeah.
gets you into a place to where you can really be yourself. So we kind of have to guide that and tailor that lane for you.
So every time you've taken a chance with something new,
Yeah.
it's been positive not only for crowd people in attendance, but it's occasionally created new connections with other artists for you.
Yep. It
Wow.
created a whole different thought process. Like, dang, I might have to try that out next time.
Yeah.
We might have to just actually set it up just like
Yeah.
that to.
I actually sent a reel to FK this morning, which is an older. I had never seen this kid before, but he was like a 15-year-old. I want to say he goes by AK or went by AK, and it was like the DJ World Championship, and he was just. I mean, it's like a 6-minute clip, and he's changing records and spinning.
Yeah.
And kind of, but. There's a lane of that out there on social media, but there's also a heavy beatbox lane.
Oh yeah.
And there's a dude who's his name is escaping me right now, but it would appear that a number of folks have decided that he's like the best, and he's doing, he can do that thing where you purse your lips and create a high pitched horn.
Oh yeah,
And he does, yeah, and he's putting stuff on loops.
Oh, the
so he will create like a 9 or a 10 layer song that started with just a little thing that he was doing, and then that becomes part of the thing, and then the next thing becomes part of the thing. It's
crazy.
So amazing.
Yeah, these beatboxers are nuts right now. I ain't got nothing on these beatboxers now. I know how to. I can keep that joint going, and I can have it funky for you. But as far as this like new dubstep age of beatboxers and how they're creating the bass that they do, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean,
yeah,
my body. I just took an inventory. I don't have any of the things to make that noise.
What are you doing? Like, shoot, I had looked up a video on Mongolian throat singing.
Huh?
Yeah, Mongolian throat singing.
To teach yourself something?
Yeah, because they're using these vocal cords that you don't really mess around with. So Mongolian throat singing, you start to tap in to the bass chords.
Huh.
And there's techniques to it,
of course,
right? So I tried it out for a little bit, and I got the initial gist of it, but I was like, man, y'all doing too much. Yeah, I'm gonna stick where I'm at.
Man, like I said, I know Mothership Connection like the back of my hand. Royce was fun. That Zapp and Roger record is definitely going into the rotation.
You see where, like, exactly what I'm talking about.
I thought,
now.
Not to take anything away from, it just so happened, I don't know why, but it just so happened that West Coast stuff came into my life in larger numbers and earlier than East Coast stuff. I still don't know a lot of East Coast stuff, and I'm cool with that because it feels like West Coast stuff is more my vibe anyway.
Yeah.
But I thought all these dudes were just like straight up geniuses and scientists and labs creating. It's like, oh no, you took a whole bunch of shit just from this one record.
Exactly. Everybody.
Well, so, I'm looking at Parliament and Royce and Zapp and Roger going, okay, interesting. And then you hit me with a curveball. 1991, Michael Jackson, Dangerous. 8th of 10, 14 tracks, 77 minutes. I love firsts here on the podcast.
Yeah.
If we've done 135 of these, one Michael Jackson record has made one person's list, and it was Thriller. And so this is only the second MJ record to be on anybody's list, which, if you think about how insanely huge he was and how many units he moved, you would think that, anyway. So here we are with Dangerous. Handful of tracks. I think I probably owned this at some point and maybe sold it for money to buy some other record that, whatever. But a handful of hits, big hits, right? There's a ballady track or two.
Yeah.
And then, not really anything that you would, point your nose up at or call it an official skip, except for maybe if you're not feeling the ballady stuff.
Right. But even those, if you dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about the presence of Michael Jackson in your life and how Dangerous earned a spot on your list.
This was the first album that I was given, I think, ever.
Really?
Yeah. This was the first album that I was given.
A physical copy.
Yeah.
A CD.
It was one of those dual joints with the
CD and a DVD.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Okay.
Because he was creating, all those music videos and stuff like that at the music movies at that time.
Black or white.
Yeah.
I remember watching that
Ghost,
listening to this,
all that, yeah.
and thinking about when that video came out. It's sort of like, well, this is where we pivot into the lane of AI.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like, oh my God, I didn't know there was technology out there that could change faces, men, women to Asian to black to Hispanic. It's like
Right.
seamless.
And he was up on a lot of that stuff, the future technologies of and trying to push the envelope of an artist in general.
Michael was?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Really?
Like, he was the only one to have $1 million music video shoots.
Fair.
And
yeah.
now everybody wants to do that. So he was the only one, like, making movies out of, short films in a sense, out of his stuff. You obviously have Thriller.
Yeah.
Thriller was, that was the epitome of
That's
that
ground
style.
zero.
Yeah, that's
right?
ground zero. And then you got Ghost. Ghost was fire, and the fact that a lot of people don't know about Ghost. He Michael Jackson, quote unquote, is the ghost of this haunted house, and he's doing the singing. But then there's this guy who's giving a tour to people, and he's showing them the whole spot and how it's historical, whatever. But it's this middle-aged, overweight white guy. Didn't know until I got into my 20s that was Michael. He got into the set like almost that Nutty Professor kind of where, so that was him the whole time. And when you look back at it, go watch Ghost. It's amazing. It's amazing all across the board. But Dangerous, that I was given that. I think I was given that so I could like go be a kid while adults did adult stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So it was at my great grandparents' house, and their downstairs had like a bar and like one of those big old. I mean, it was like 60 inches, but at the time that was a big old TV.
Heck
what I mean? I put the joint in, and immediately Jam comes on. Immediately, I'm dancing, and then from that point on, the songs were just hit. Obviously, you got your slow jams, but that's what they do at that time. Michael's coming from the 70s of doing that type of music.
Yeah.
That's his lane. But listening to it in my like years today, when I go back and listen, the production is just insane.
What grabs you about it?
The drums.
Okay.
Those drums, how they hit.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all doing?
1991.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's hard kind of understanding the producer lane and what it takes to get a punch out of your drums. Everybody had great horns or bass lines and stuff, but it's really hard to get a punchy snare without hurting, your ears or whatever, going over the frequency. Getting a nice crunchy snare, a nice kick that you feel in your chest every time, like it's hard to get those things. And then the other elements, the miscellaneous elements that are always in the background of him doing little breaths. All of that little stuff makes
one of one.
Yeah, it all makes sense across all of the music. So in my production, that's how I break down my music. If I am missing something, if there's something that's on the top of my head for the song and I can't find something quick enough to make that sound, I'll do it myself. You know what I mean? And now it becomes a mesh within the song, and you would never know that's like me doing the hi-hats or the shaker sound or whatever it is that I can.
You got both of those on tap, accessible?
Yeah.
Let's hear.
What to be able to do.
Can you just do a shaker sound right out off the cuff?
I
a
guess
hi-hat?
so, right. Like a shaker. And then if I'm doing like a hi-hat,
fly, dude.
Switch between the
That's
two.
Great.
And get the idea across as soon as possible, because that's the thing about our brains. We're spitfire.
Yeah.
We're throwing everything so quick that you can lose it I mean, there's so many times that I thought of a great idea and I dove too much into it.
And lost it.
Yeah, completely. Like I'm doing a riff and I'll do the riff for like 5 minutes straight to make sure I got it. And then all of a sudden I start doing something a little wobbly and then I find myself in a whole different pocket and I'm like, dang, what did I just do? Like what? And it's gone, you know? So the name of the game is like, get it down while you got it. The inspiration is flying, you know,
Yeah.
if you got a phone or whatever, like record it, get it on
I've
that.
had, if a wizard walked in the room and said, "What do you want to do for a living for the rest of your life?"
Yeah.
I would write,
Yeah.
and and that would earn money to pay my mortgage and shit. But so far, I have not met that wizard. But many times, I'm in that. Am I asleep? Am I like early morning? And there's a thing, whether it's a dream or a thought. And so the sleep, it exists here in the sleep portion, but the awake portion is over here and present enough to go get that on
Hold on to
get that
it.
on paper.
Hold on
and
to
then
it.
get up. Fuck, it's gone.
Try so hard, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a practice. I think that's a practice, more than anything, because I'm a dreamer as well. So like I try to journal and notebook when I can, but it's that initial thought process. Like don't lose it, don't
Right.
lose it. Come on,
Right.
come on, get it down. But when you do get it down, it feels good, and it's usually a nice body of work, whatever it is. But yeah, Dangerous really, to me, embodies his mind on doing the type of music he really liked.
Okay. What about Bad?
Bad was in there, but it was exiting. I think that was like his. You know what? I'm lying. I can't
came out
even.
first a few like 87, 80, a few years before this
Yeah.
one,
So
right?
no. Yeah. Bad. This. Then it was. Was it Blood on the Dance Floor? Or was it Invincible?
I
Or
think
something?
Invincible might have been the very last.
Yeah, that was his last
Yep.
body work.
And maybe there was a compilation stuck in there somewhere.
Yeah, there was a couple like little small joints that people tried to make
But-
compilations of, but yeah.
Bad doesn't have any of that.
It does.
Okay.
It does, but it's not. I don't know what it is about it. It's just not the level of like really being in your bag, and like between this and dang, Off the Wall.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Off the Wall.
Yeah.
I think those two were like in his bag as far as just being in that not genre, but the age of music at that time.
Smooth Criminals on Bad, right?
Yeah, Smooth Criminals. Like those are great. Those are classics.
Alive and conscious, aware of the music world when Thriller comes out. I'm living in Atlanta. It's a 3-year window. It's really the only time that we had cable. So, but MTV.
Yeah.
And it's just huge, and Thriller and Beat It and Billie Jean and all this shit. And, he duet with Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
What?
I know,
I mean,
right?
the whole record is just like never before, never again, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Bad comes out and you got like some of the coolness from my perspective.
For sure.
Within a track like Smooth Criminal, it's like, God, what can this guy not do? Right? And then move to this and it's like, wow.
Yeah, and I think it is such a personal preference.
Sure.
Because when I say that, like, okay, this was to me him being in his bag, like Invincible, he was in there, and then like you said, Bad, he was in there like doing his thing. Because you got You Rock My World, like that. was such a time, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. You got to leave me alone. Don't just leave me alone. Like that's nuts.
Yeah.
But all of his albums, you'll see his perspective on his fame, like at the time, because he's going through through things.
That
So
nobody else on the planet is
On the
going through
planet.
or has ever gone through, or probably, I mean, I suppose you could throw a Madonna and a Taylor Swift and so on into the mix and
Yeah.
whatever. So have you watched Leaving Neverland documentary?
I know I did, but that was such a um, man. I totally watched it and I
Okay.
immediately forgot about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
It
like
didn't leave an impression of any kind.
no, because there was so much to it at that time, like of what was going on in Neverland, but then the historical part to it, you know, it being his spot. But I don't know. I
Well,
just was so over the controversy
right.
of everything.
I looked it up because it you know, it's been 5 years since it came out, maybe 6. And it would big documentaries like that come up in the stand-up comedy world. You know, especially
Yeah, absolutely.
there's a lot of stand-up comics that podcast, and they'll all come on each other's podcasts and, oh, dude, have you watched the new fill in the blank? Doesn't have to be, but it was talked about a lot. So you know, I haven't listened to this record
Yeah.
probably since it came out, honestly. So I was, you know, like, oh, let me check, because I never watched it. So I look it up, and it's like 4 other documentaries and other sorts of things like that got made as a response to that one, and Lawsuit X spawned 7 other lawsuits. It's just like, I can't keep track of this. This is crazy.
They're still doing stuff.
I know, right? So you know, it all where I'm going with it. The age-old question of how do you separate the artist from the art? Because in the mix of all that stuff, it's like radio station this and it's pulling. You know, they're not no more. We're not playing any more MJ on our channel, and like Weird Al Yankovic
Yeah.
was touring, and he dropped
His songs,
from his live act, and several other examples like that. But they all eventually put them back in, right? And it's like everybody cancel, you know, and then it's like, yeah, okay, he still created this.
Exactly. And this is the yeah. It's such a touchy area because that's how, you know, we feel with R. Kelly as well. Like this man has one of the biggest catalogs ever, and hits after hit after hit after hit. Like how can you get rid of that? Same thing happened with Chris Brown with the whole Rihanna fiasco. As soon as that happened, they took all his music off of the air. They were not playing Chris Brown at all. They were like, it would get to a part where he featured on a verse and it's the end of the song. Like they're moving on, you know what I mean? And then, you know, obviously now he's doing his thing. It's not a big deal, but there always comes that point where people are trying to be safe and there's a political, you know, game to it. But
I'm glad you used that word, feature, because if there are 14 tracks on this, maybe 9 or 10 of them feature folks.
yeah.
Like there's a
All right.
there's a symphony, the Cleveland something choir. I don't have the list in front of me, but almost none of the folks that feature are small names. They're all
huge.
and folks
You got
weren't
Biggie, you got Heavy
doing
D.
that really. Folks weren't really featuring, and honestly, you could go back to Thriller and the guitar solo from Beat It is flipping Eddie Van Halen.
There you go.
And now, and I'm not trying to like be critical or point a finger, but a lot of times if somebody releases a full length album, there's lots of features on it, and it's almost I don't want to say overdone, but a lot of the times when I'm looking at those credits, I don't know who half of these folks are.
Yeah.
But with Micheal, I'm like, God damn, just baller after baller after baller after baller, all doing different things. No two people are featuring on different tracks and doing the same thing.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
like,
got their own, but yeah, I'm like, when I realized Biggie was on this track, I'm like, what the heck? Like he's just up in your studio, and that's that type of stuff where you, like as an artist, if you are a big artist, you are honored to be a feature on that, and that I think we're missing that aspect. However, when people like Busta Rhymes makes a new album, I look at that album and see the features, I immediately know who's coming up next. I'm like, okay, like this guy, like there's important people who are going to have features that actually mean something.
yeah.
So, in today's world, when you look at features, it's like, okay, this is the new up and coming.
Yeah. I mean, that De La record right there, De La is kind of not kind of, they're 1000% my ground zero for hip hop. And I'll never forget when Artificial Intelligence came out, and I was like, they're still in the game. They're still making records. Fuck yeah. And then this came out not long after it. And when the record gets going, one of them says, make sure you stay tuned for AOI 3, some DJ shit.
Oh, shoot.
And this is like, man, 20 years ago, 19 years ago. And then their shit got tied up in legal stuff with Tommy Boy, and only just March of 2023, did it get settled, and now all the stuff's available streaming.
Oh wow.
But Trugoy the Dove, R.I.P. in peace, has passed away, unfortunately, in the midst of all this. But they're kind of like, their social media presence is starting to sprinkle again. And I saw a post recently where it's like that AOI 3, it's still coming.
Yeah.
So it might be
Yeah,
fantastic. Point being, Busta features on several tracks in those two records. Nobody it doesn't matter what your track looks like.
Yeah.
You bring Busta into it,
Yeah.
and he's immediately identified. He's got pop. He's got humor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going on a tangent.
Yeah, it's like that type of artist where you understand that they truly love this form of work, and when I get on something, I'm gonna go ham. Like, that's what people know me for. When you get my music, it smacks. Like, it's gonna slap you in the face.
Cool.
And, you know what I mean? And same with my vocals. If you have me on a verse, you know that I'm gonna go a certain kind of way that it just fits. So when you know that artist, that's like, okay, I know he cares about his work. When I tune into his album, it's gonna be, even if I don't even like go with what originally they were coming out with, I know that it's gonna be a solid piece of work.
Hell yeah.
Hands down.
Well, I like to run through a series of goofy questions, and then we'll wrap and get you out of here.
For sure.
So the first one is, you get to have lunch with anybody, dead or alive. You're choosing. Who are you choosing, and why?
Lunch, huh?
Or a beer, or a coffee, whatever.
Who would I want to chill with? I think that I'd want to hang with Marlon Wayans.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was it Marlon and Damon that were sort of the spearheads of In Living Color, the television show?
Damon and the other brother,
Okay.
the other older brother.
Okay. So Marlon's younger.
Yeah. Marlon and Sean Wayans were the ones for the when they did the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it about Marlon that would make you want to hang with him?
Man, he's real, but he's funny, but he's real, and in his funny though, he's gonna give you kind of like tidbits and advice of what you might not want to hear, but it might be on the like devil advocate type
Keeping
tip.
it real.
Yeah, just keeping it real,
Okay.
but like it's the way he goes about just talking and his life of what we can see, it's very brotherly. It's very
Cool.
on an uncle tip. But you can, I feel like if I didn't know the man, he didn't know me, and we sat and had some coffee, we could be cool. He immediately come into the situation like, loosen up, motherfucker, and drink. You know what I'm saying? Like we immediately
Yeah.
get into
Chill.
yeah, like we're good, and we could have a good time. Probably walk around the block and it'd be cool.
Nice.
You can't really say that too much about certain people. Like I would say, I don't know, Jay-Z or one of my top producers or something. But I feel like it would be so critical of you either want to impress or they're looking at you like, what do you got to offer? Or
Yeah.
like they're trying to sun you or something like that. I think that Marlon would be on a cool ground level
Nice.
with you.
Nice.
Chill.
So, if we can agree or imagine or pretend that everybody's got a personal and a professional bucket list, right? Let's say you're given all the necessary resources to go knock out number one on both of those lists for you. What are those number ones?
Ooh. Interesting. I don't know. I think one, on a personal, I want to sail the sea.
For real, for real.
Yeah, like I want to like get and have a boat, like a nice dope boat, and live out at sea for a week.
Like a big ass thing?
Like a nice sized boat where it takes just a couple people to man the joint.
Are you doing any of the manning?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah. No,
like
absolutely.
pulling ropes
Yeah,
and swinging.
I want to do the experience.
You're not afraid of the ocean?
Absolutely. Okay. But I'm like, I ain't even gonna bullshit you. Like it's such a crazy thing, but to know really how to navigate, the earth on that level is kind of wild. And I love fishing. I love, to cook, how we were talking earlier. I think that would be just such a dope aspect.
Okay.
To kind of like see the world in a different perspective. Like how many of us get to just go into the middle, not to go out there to grab, livestock to bring back to the farm or something or whatever and sell stuff. Like, nah, go out there and live for a little bit and then like
Terrifying.
navigate.
Terrifying. If you ever do that, don't share footage with me, please.
Right.
Send me a postcard.
But yeah, I think I on a non-business level, I would want to do that. On a business tip, I think I want to DJ at a place that's got like a few thousand just people in the
big
crowd.
room.
Yeah, just
Okay.
and I want everybody to be jumping.
Yeah,
on
nice.
the same accord. I want to feel that energy, and I believe that will happen sooner than later.
Cool.
I don't know about the sailing, but
One of them's got to come before the
yeah,
other.
something's got to happen.
Yeah. Let's say you were given the ability to visit your past self, any age you're choosing. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
Ooh, man. I'd probably go back to when I was 12.
12, okay.
That's when I officially created the Prodigy production name.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dang.
And I'd probably tell myself to not cook and get into coding.
Coding? Like
Coding.
writing code?
Yeah.
For IT shit?
Yeah.
Just because now you know that that's what the world is
Right.
rooted in, and there's money to be
and,
made.
and to on the AI tip, and just being able, because I've always been a creator, whether that's like inventing. I enjoy inventing, different electronic equipment, coming up with things before they even came out, but people have money for it.
Yeah.
But that might have helped me more in my DJ game, and getting into certain facets. Like cooking is great. I would have always known how to do it. But as far as like what career path I took on coming out of high school, I would have definitely chose different.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. Are you aware that at one time there was a television show called Fear Factor?
Oh yeah.
You know about this show?
Fear Factor.
You remember what happened on it?
Yep.
So for those that don't know, way back in the early days of reality TV, Joe Rogan hosted it. And you would have to do things like lay in a coffin and they'd dump 150 spiders on you, or whatever. A lot of stuff like that. What would the absolute worst Fear Factor challenge be for DJ Prodigy?
Oh yeah, shoot, you named it. Don't pour no spiders on me.
Is that the worst?
Oh my god. Oh my god. To this day, I can't fully watch Arachnophobia.
Oh, I've never watched it. And
I can't get past the first 10 minutes ever. I try it every time. I'm like, I'm a big man now. I'm grown and stuff. Like I can watch that first 10 minutes. No, I'm screaming like a girl. I can't. Turn it off. Turn it off.
We just, my daughter and I do this dad-daughter float every year. We go down to Arkansas.
Nice.
There's this year was like 134 dads and daughters, and it's anyway. So I had to. This was the second time in 3 years that I had to get up at like 4:15 and pack up all my stuff and hustle out of it. Leave my daughter with her buddy and her buddy's dad so that I could get back here, scoop up my boy, and take him to KU basketball camp for a noon check-in. It's a 5-hour drive to get back. So I knew, because I did it 2 years ago, I knew that everything was going to be completely soaked. My tent, my packing just from dew. And so many bugs. So I'm talking to a buddy of mine down there about at some point when I get home, then I have to set up everything in my yard, so that it can dry out, and I'm making sure there's not bugs and whatnot. And I told him that I used to like bring my big external frame backpack from the garage up to my bedroom when I'm getting ready for a camping trip, put all my clothes and shit in there, take it on the trip. And then when I get home, I bring it up to my room again and unpack it. I did that one time. This is a number of years ago, and it was midday or whatever. And that evening, I'm getting ready for bed, and I look over on the window seat, and there's a wolf spider.
Nope.
And at my ex-wife, she's probably still this way, she put a cup in a coaster and take it outside. And I'm like, I'm smashing the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah. As soon. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Nope.
Bro, I understand where you're coming from, but I am not taking the chance that this thing finds its way back in, and then in the middle of the night, it just...
No. My worst fear is like these type of animals really gaining the intelligence we have. It's so simple, like, to get us out of here.
Yeah.
It's so simple. We got all kind of orifices
Yep.
for y'all to get into. No. I watched Mummy. I seen them.
Did you ever watch all of the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yeah.
Okay, so the third one, when we're finding, and they're fucking 3 hours apiece.
Yeah,
the third one, it's deep into the movie, and Smeagol leads Frodo into that cave where that huge...
Oh, no, absolutely not.
It just with that
Yeah.
stinger, and then he's white and foaming.
Yep. Nope.
Wraps
That's all
him
it
up.
takes.
Man.
Yeah. Get you out of here real quick.
Last but not least, complete this for me, please. The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only
You would chill out.
you,
Relax.
meaning you, everybody.
Yeah, y'all. Just chill out. It's gonna be all right.
I like it. I like
You
it.
know, the world, the grass is greener on the other side. No, the grass is greener where you at. You straight.
Just water it a little bit.
Yeah, just water it a little bit. Take care of your patch of
Yeah,
grass.
yeah.
And enjoy life. You are here living, and have everything to be grateful for, happy for. So enjoy that bad boy while you here.
Cool. So, real DJ Prodigy, all one word, on Instagram is a good spot. You said there's a bunch of good stuff.
Yep, the real DJ Prodigy.
Is that the
Instagram,
best place for anybody that wants to keep tabs on where you're gigging? If you're
Yeah. Go there.
releasing
That's where all
stuff?
my links are. That's
You
where
got a link tree?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's where you see some fun posts, my pictures, and all the good things that we've been doing up to now.
Cool.
Instagram's the way to go.
For sure. Any other plugs?
Yep. YouTube, Prodigy Productions.
Prodigy Productions.
That's where you see my bigger finished work.
Okay. Okay.
Videos that I might be producing or directing.
Yeah. Anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we didn't?
Oh no, this was good. This was solid.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. I know you're only in town for a short minute. You had a super busy weekend, and I appreciate you carving out a little time for me. I know it's, in the younger days, it's like cars, money, and women. But you get older, and you're like, damn, time is valuable as shit.
Oh my goodness, we
Like
ain't got none of it.
Right?
It's gone as soon as you got it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So thank you very much. Very nice to meet you, and talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Solid.